You're listening to Expat Radio, your worldwide friend.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Very good morning.
How is
How are
everyone?
Hello.
Morning,
Hi.
Clint. How are you?
Hey.
Morning, Clint.
How are y'all?
We did it. We're good. Yeah, I have to tell y'all, we've been practicing with this phone for a little bit, so it looks like it's good, and we're all ready to go. This is awesome. So
Everybody can hear me okay?
I think so. I think
Okay.
we're on.
Yeah, you
so,
might
hey,
need
Dave,
you might need subtitles for me, Clint, because you might struggle to understand my accent. So,
Well, you might struggle to understand mine. So,
oh no, don't you worry about that.
So Dave, I was listening this morning, and you had mentioned that you played the Fray. Did you know they're from Denver?
Are they really?
Yeah, they're from Denver.
No wonder I couldn't understand them either. Anyway,
And it's Game of Thrones, Dave. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, that was it. See, and you're well on the ball, you girl, aren't you? Do you go out at night, or do you just sit in and watch television and bore yourself senseless?
I don't watch TV. I don't really watch
you?
TV.
Well, do you know all this information then that I'm spilling out there?
John is very, very knowledgeable about TV programs.
You've not got him up at daft o'clock in the morning again, have you?
What's that?
You not woke him up and said, John, what's the name of that show? Did you get Games of Thrones? Leave me alone.
Nope. I just know it. Okay,
right.
So we banter. But anyway, hello, everyone, the world. Thank you for joining me on The Heartbeat, Christine Saunders, this morning. And I have a very special guest, and I'm going to introduce Clint Park here in a second, or have him introduce himself. But I wanted to tell you all about how we kind of met. And we met actually after a show in a little town called Greeley here in Colorado. And we're going to talk about the show later, so I'm not going to spoil that whole thing. But he played some awesome songs, acoustic, on stage, flipping fantastic. And I knew I had to get him on the radio with me. So I just happened to be leaving. I stood around like a fangirl. I always do that. And thought, I'm going to chat this guy up for a little bit. And then he was really busy. And then I found my opportunity. And we kind of had a little conversation after the concert. And so that's how
You
Clint
didn't
and I
jump
met.
on his back, did you? You didn't collar him round the neck. She didn't harass you, did you? Did she, Clint?
no, she was totally fine.
Right, good. Because she's got a history for this. She's got a criminal record, you know.
I do not.
I'm at the point in my career right now. I don't get harassed a whole lot, so I'm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh! No, I'm sure that there were people in the crowd that were harassing him, but we're going to talk about that because it's kind of a funny story. But Clint, could you tell us a little bit about you? And then we have about an hour today to just sort of talk about you and country music and your songs and just share you with the world today. But tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. My name's Clint Park. I am actually, at the moment, well, it's 5 o'clock in the morning my time, so I'm trying to get my head around this whole thing. But I've been touring with the Ward Davis Band. Ward and I are really good friends, have been for years. We've written songs together. And about 6 months ago, he called and asked me to join his band and open up some shows for him. We've just kind of been down the same road. We've both had record deals, publishing deals here in Nashville. That's where I live currently. I'm a little north of Nashville, but I mean, when people ask me when I'm out of town, I say Nashville. But anyways, we've just been down the same road. I was in a father-son duo with my dad, obviously, Johnny Park, and we had record deals. We were on Capitol Records. We were on Lyric Street Records. Had publishing deals. None of them really panned out. I was just playing around Nashville a whole lot, playing out 4 or 5 nights a week. And Ward called me and asked me to join his band. So that's been really good. It's been, we're actually seeing progress, which is great. I haven't seen progress in years. I've just been beating around Nashville forever.
Mm-hmm.
So just going out and playing shows and trying to get my music out there. I don't really have anything online for sale or anything, but I'm just trying my best at this social media deal. I'm not very good at it.
We're going to change that.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
So, because the way we work out here, I mean, it's very, very important. And I'm just trying to trying to get my whole head around that thing. So, yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's just kind of a summary of what I've been doing over the last few years, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're going to dive into some of this stuff a little bit as well. I feel very, very lucky that I actually got to meet you, because once I met you, I was like, I'm going to go check this dude out on, some of the digital media platforms, and you're not on there. And we talked about that a little bit as well. And so I think that big things are coming for you as far as getting your music out there. And this was one way that I thought there has to be a lot more people out there in the world like me who love country music, who love true to the grit country music. And you and there's others. And like, we had Ray on last week, and this started my 3-week stint of, celebrating American country music. And I knew I had to have you on there because you definitely have that sound and that writing, and we're going to dive into that. But we do have 4 of your songs to play today. Which one do you want to start with? What do you want to tell us about?
I think you've got Why Can't It Be Rainin'?
Yep.
That's the first track off an EP I did with Robbie Turner. If people are familiar with Rob, if you're a steel guitar player, you're definitely familiar with Robbie Turner. He plays with Chris Stapleton. He played with Waylon Jennings for 20 years or something. When Ralph Mooney left Waylon Jennings, Robbie took over. So Robbie played with the Highwaymen too. Just super talented guy. I mean, the guy, he can pick up anything and he doesn't play it.
Wow. That's awesome.
I mean, he doesn't play it. I can't say what I want to say, but he's just he's very good at what he does. I'll just say that.
Right. So let's go to a quick break. We'll listen to Why Can't It Be Rainin', which is one of my favorite songs that you sing. And we'll be back, and we're going to dive into more country music. So we'll be right back.
It's another perfect day, a warm summer breeze. The sun is shining all over me. The sky is beautiful, so blue it's on breeze. Why can't the weather be the way I feel? Why can't it be raining like the tears I'm crying rain, like the sky's dying, raining? I wish the sun would disappear with the pain I'm in. Why can't it be raining? It's been storming in my heart. I can hear the thunder roll, and I can't get over you, girl, to save my soul. 'Cause ever since you left me, well, that song won't let me hide. Well, everybody sees what I feel inside. Why can't it be raining like the tears I'm crying rain, like the sky's dying, raining? I wish the sun would disappear with the pain I'm in. Why can't it be raining? Why can't it be raining like the tears I'm crying rain, like the sky's dying, raining? I wish the sun would disappear with the pain I'm in. Why can't it be raining? Raining all over me.
Hi, this is Pete Best, the original Beatles drummer, on Expat Radio.
You're listening to Expat Radio, your worldwide friend.
Right, we're going back live to Christine and to Clint this morning.
Oh, there's something about the steel guitar that just gets my heart.
I love it.
I know. It's so fantastic. I can't, you can't have country music without steel guitar, in my opinion.
Well,
I know that's not.
Robbie Turner's at the top of the list for that instrument, for sure.
Yeah. Fantastic dude. I can't even imagine, we're going to talk a little bit about country music here in a minute and how it has shifted and evolved and, generation to generation. But I grew up, steel guitar was like a staple in country music. So
absolutely.
When I hear that, I was oh, I just stop and just enjoy it. 'Cause it's such a talent and such an art. So Clint, did you always know you wanted to play music and write music?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, my dad's always been in the music business. He played clubs in Fort Worth. I was born in Texas. He was born in the panhandle of Texas, north of Amarillo. But he played a lot of clubs when I was growing up in the Fort Worth area, Dallas, Fort Worth. And, he moved us to Nashville in 1988, and he struggled as a musician as far as songwriting and trying to get record deals. I mean, just the same path that we've been down for years. It's been a sure enough roller coaster ride the whole time we've been in the music business. And when we joined up, I started playing drums when I was about 10 years old. And then I moved to just playing guitar because I was playing drums and singing in a band, and I just got kind of tired of it. And I played guitar, and I'd always tinkered around on piano and mandolin and different instruments. And, I just kind of became a front man for whatever reason when I was about 16 and started playing clubs when I was probably 16. I was playing clubs. I live in a town called Gallatin, which is north of Nashville. Started playing some clubs up here and just started getting a really good response. And by the time I was probably 20, Dad and I joined up as a duo and just started shooting for record deals. He had, knew people just being in the business. He knew managers and whatnot. So we joined up with John Doris. Excuse me. John Doris actually managed Ray Scott and I for a long time.
Yeah.
That's my connection with Ray.
Yeah.
We've known each other a long time. And
cool.
So about a year in it, Dad and I were playing writers' nights, and we played a writers' night one night, and a guy named Tim Whipperman came out to see us. And a week later, I was signed to a publishing deal at Warner Chappell. And 6 months later, I had a record deal on Capitol. So things were really looking up.
Yeah.
And then, we go over there, we cut a half a record, and we stayed there for over 3 years. And they never did anything with our record. And that's just kind of the way Nashville works sometimes.
Yeah. I've heard that.
You kind of get caught in a cycle, when they want to go in and cut more songs, then they're pushing somebody else's single and they get focused on that. And you get thrown on the back burner sometimes. And that's just the way it works. And that's kind of, my whole career has kind of been that as far as Nashville goes anyways.
Right. Are you self-taught? Did you teach yourself to play all those instruments, or did you did?
Yeah, I did. I just worked my butt off. I mean, as far as playing guitar, I mean, my dad's a hell of a guitar player. He's a fantastic player. And so, I just always watched him, and I had the privilege of being on stage with a lot of great guitar players. So I just picked up on that. Now, as far as piano goes, I always had one around the house. Dad didn't play piano. Mom played a little bit, but I would just sit there and practice. And mandolin, I'd lock myself in a bathroom and play for hours till I figured it out. That's just kind of how I did it.
Yeah. Who influenced you as a young artist when you formed this Southern rock band that I have read about in your information? Like, who's influencing you to start that kind of a band?
Well, it was kind of at the time. It was the late 90s. Nirvana, all those guys were coming out. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of high school bands that were playing that stuff.
Right.
That weren't getting gigs.
Right.
So we kind of gravitated more towards the Lynyrd Skynyrd's and the Marshall Tuckers and stuff like that. Which I had always been a fan of. I mean, my dad was a huge fan of those guys. And so I'd listen to those records and everything else. And so we just started playing that stuff when we knew that was going to get us gigs. Because, field parties and playing bars and stuff, that's what those people wanted to hear.
Right.
So
party music.
Exactly. We were always the band to get the gigs back then.
Yeah.
But as far as like guitar goes, Willie Nelson was probably my guitar hero, which sounds kind of strange. I mean, I love Eric Clapton and, Jimmy Page and, that's the stuff you hear when people play guitar, But Willie, just listening, I'd sit for hours and listen to Willie records, and I played like he did. And he was probably, other than my dad, was probably my biggest influence.
That's awesome.
Songwriting kind of the same way. I mean, just the truthfulness of that kind of songwriting.
Yeah. I grew up listening to Willie Nelson too. My dad played him. My dad loved him. My dad that was what was going on in our household. So when you and I chatted about Willie Nelson, I was like, yes, we are like same page with this. Like, people don't give him the credit, but he is super, super talented dude. And I mean, look at him. He's in his 80s and he's still making seriously good music. So,
well, he smokes a lot of pot too.
That's right.
Sometimes that helps.
Yeah. Sometimes the pot can help for sure. Yeah.
Willie was always played around my house. Willie, Waylon, Johnny Paycheck. Mm-hmm. My dad was always a huge fan of those guys. My dad was a Waylon freak. I mean, he sounds like him on stage. He plays guitar like him. And when we started playing live together, that's about all we play. Mm-hmm. I mean, as far as cover songs, we are very outlaw country type stuff.
Yeah.
When we play together.
Yeah. I would love to see that sometime. I think that would be fantastic. So let's talk about another song that you have sent to play today. We've got Love Hate Thing, Nobody Cheats on Me, and One Track Mind. Which one do you want to play next? And let's hear a little bit about it.
All right. One Track Mind. That was a song I wrote with two buddies of mine that I just grew up with, David Wakefield and Alan Satterfield. And we've all got the same kind of passion for music. It was, it's just one of them things. We sit around one night and we're all huge Bob Dylan fans, that kind of stuff, Van Morrison. Mm-hmm. But as far as Bob Dylan goes, I always loved like traveling songs. Mm-hmm. And he was very good at that kind of stuff. And I always loved that kind of stuff, even with the Allman Brothers and stuff like that, Ramblin' Man and all that, they're just those traveling songs. And, it's just one of those nights we sat in a room and wrote it, and that's what came about. And I
love that that kind of like history of a song, because like that's what I hear most of it. Like when something just happens, it just happens. You just be sitting there and it just happens. So
yeah, and I mean you get caught up in the Nashville system a lot of times, and the way Nashville goes is a lot of times you just set up a meeting, go down there and write, and then sometimes you're just hanging out the house and something hits you, and it writes itself. And that's kind of how this song came about. I mean, we wrote it in 30 minutes probably.
Awesome. Well, let's take a listen to One Track Mind, and we'll be right back with Clint Park here on The Heartbeat.
stretch of highway. They say it's rough, but I'm gonna have to see. I'm packing light, but I carry a heavy load. I know there's something out there for me. I heard Casey Jones parked his train in Jackson, and just like me, I know he had the blues. Well, Memphis town is calling me, the last stop in Tennessee. There's something that this old boy could use. I met a man that came from Mississippi. He said he liked the way I sing my song. He knew a place where I could make some money, and he'd lead me there if he could tag along. But you know time is of the essence, and I know I gotta keep moving down the line. Where Tupelo sure sounds nice, but I can't keep shooting dice. Well, I'm headed west with a one-track mind. With a one-track mind, it's too late to turn around. I'm standing on my own 2 feet and I ain't backing down. With a one-track mind, gonna make a brand new start. I'm cleaning out my head and I'm gonna listen to my heart. Down this long highway with a one-track mind. Press on faithful to my journey. Still sometimes I knock on wood. I'm better now at letting go of worry, 'cause life ain't fair, but man, it sure is good. So I'm gonna take this life that I've been given and let it shine wherever I may go. There's really nothing to it, it's just living. And I'm thankful now that I can carry on. With a one-track mind, it's too late to turn around. I'm standing on my own 2 feet and I ain't backing down. With a one-track mind, gonna make a brand new start. I'm cleaning out my head and I'm gonna listen to my heart. Down this long highway with a one-track mind. Down this long highway. Down this long highway. Down this long highway with a one-track mind.
You're listening to Expat Radio, your worldwide friend.
You see how fantastic this is, Dave?
Now, you see, the thing is, now you probably, I don't know if you know this, or Clint won't know, but you might know this. I learnt the drums as well when I was 8. And when I'm hearing the old brushes on the drums there, I was like, I thought, this is a hit. This song is a blooming hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of that. You know, when you hear stuff and you think, right, top 3, top 5, top 10, and I can put money on it. A lot of the stuff in the UK charts, I know if it's going to do well or if it's going to be dross. But when you hear stuff like this that Clint's doing, and it's like, what on earth are Nashville thinking? Where are they? Where have they got their heads? Because there's no way in a month of Sundays that this shouldn't be up through the roof.
Exactly.
Well, it's just the whole thing about getting caught in the cycle, like I was talking about earlier. That's just kind of what happened.
Get me down there, mate. I'll bang some heads together. Gordon Bennett. If they can't see what quality is, there's something wrong.
I agree, and that's like I when I listened to Clint in Greeley, and I want to tell you all about that story. But like I was like, why is this dude like I just don't. I'm still trying to understand the whole Nashville BS, and I'm going to try not to be potty mouth Dave, because I get really like amped up about this. But like the more I talk about country music and the more I talk, and I've known this about Nashville, there's just this culture in Nashville that's very different. And so I don't want to bash anybody. That's not why I'm here. I just feel like there's so many talented people who are not being heard for whatever reason. And so that's why I was like, I need to get this guy some exposure because he's fantastic. So,
and there absolutely is. There's so many talented people in Nashville, and there's a lot of people that have the exact same story I do. And as far as the Capitol thing went, it was a deal where they gave us the money to go in and cut a half a record. It's called a production deal. And so we went in and cut the half the record. They loved it. Wanted us to stay on the label. You know, they promised us we'd finish the record, blah, blah, blah. And then we get caught in that system, in that cycle where they're just, they've got bigger artists to take care of. And just when you think you're going to get your money to go in and do the rest of the record, they put out another single on Keith Urban or Garth Brooks or whoever, and they start working that, and you just get caught. You get put on the back burner. And that's exactly what happened. And then finally, after 3 years, you know, I just Dad and I had enough of it. We were just done. And so we pretty much just asked out of our deal. Well, 6 months later, or probably a year later, Doug Howard and Randy Goodman were the president and vice president at Lyric Street, which Lyric Street was where Rascal Flatts was. Bucky Covington, Trent Tomlinson, those guys were over there. So our music was different than theirs. But Randy and Doug, old souls. Old soul, they love old country music, which is kind of strange because of the music they were putting out, which I'm not knocking it. I'm like you. That's not what I'm here to do. People do what they want to do, and whoever digs it. And if they don't like mine, that's fine.
Yeah.
But anyways, they kind of did the same deal with us, gave us the money to go in and do a half a record, which a lot of deals are based like that around Nashville. Well, with the money they gave us to do 5 songs, we took our band in and we did 8. Well, when we presented them the 8 songs, they said, well, hell, y'all just do 3 more and finish the record.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. So we got super excited. Now, granted, our music was different than what was over there. I mean, they had Rascal Flatts and that stuff. I mean, we are on the total end of the spectrum as far as that goes. But things were still looking good. People were still getting behind us and all this stuff. And we go out after being there for a few years, finishing the record, getting it done. We loved it. We made a hell of a record. It was awesome. Some of the songs that's going to be on my new EP were on this record because they never got put out. And they're still songs that I love to this day.
Yeah.
Well, we go out. We start doing a radio tour. We're out for about 2 months. We are on the West Coast. I think we're in Seattle. They call us, tell us to come home. And we're like, oh, Lord, what do? We get home, the entire label shut down.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm weeks away. Dad and I are weeks away from our single being out. And they call us home and tell us that the whole label shut down. So everybody, you're talking probably 12 artists lost their record deal.
Wow, that's a big deal. And I hear that happens a lot, right?
Oh, absolutely it does. Our label shut down every day. I mean, but this was a major label. This was a Disney-owned label, so they had plenty of money. Just, I think what happened, something was going on in the office that Disney didn't like. And with all the artists over there, Rascal Flatts was the only one making the money. So they just said, done. Yeah. And so it just left. And of course, Rascal Flatts gets picked up the next day. But the 10, 12 other artists over there, we were screwed.
Yeah. So when you have these things happen, like, what keeps you going? Like, what keeps you playing music, writing music, and going on tour with Ward Davis Band? Like, what keeps you going?
Well, Ward saved me. and I say that from the bottom of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely. I mean, I was on the verge of just getting a regular job. I was just, and I know I can play. I can get gigs around Nashville.
Right.
It's not a problem. But when you're doing 4-hour gigs, 4 nights a week, or 5 nights a week, it just wears on you, and you're not gaining momentum. You're not getting to play many of your original songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just playing honky tonks. You're there to get the crowd drunk and loud, which is the exact opposite of what we're doing now.
Right.
We're wanting people to pay tickets to come in and listen to us. And I think you're going to kind of segue into that here in a second.
Yeah.
With the birthday girl at Greenland.
Yeah, we could definitely talk about that. So quick story, and then I want to play another song because I really want to make sure that we get to play all your songs today. But so let me just tell this funny story. When we were in Greeley, we went to this new, I went to college in Greeley, so I hadn't been there for years. And there's this new revamped theater, a fantastic venue called the Moxie Theater. And there was this woman in there who just happened to actually sit next to us at dinner. And I thought to myself, oh, good Lord, please don't let her sit next to us at the concert. And she, in fact, did sit next to the concert, and it happened to be her birthday, right? And so here's Clint. He's up there, and he's acoustic guitar playing these really awesome, heartfelt songs. I think this happened during one of the songs that you and your dad wrote that you had talked about. And she screams at the top of her lungs, silent, pretty much theater, "It's my birthday!" And she kept singing this. She's really drunk. She's just whatever. And I think at that point you just stopped your song and you're like, I know it's your birthday. We've all heard it's your birthday. And if I buy you a drink and sing you happy birthday, will you just shut up? Please just shut up. And I think the whole entire theater was like, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And it just comes to show that there are people out there who just come to party and to do that. But there's like that little bit of respect that was completely missing. That whole night was kind of a little bit of drama. Some other things happened too. But I want to come back and hear your thoughts on that after we listen to a song. But as the artist. But so we've got Love Hate Thing and Nobody Cheats on Me. Which one do you want to play next?
Nobody Cheats on Me. That was a song that Dad and I wrote with a guy, Steve Bogart. Steve is a staple in Nashville as far as songwriting goes. He wrote Carrying Your Love With Me, George Strait. I Get Carried Away, George Strait. He's got a few Dierks Bentley hits. He's the head of the Nashville Songwriters Association. He's the president. Okay. Awesome. Steve and I, we've been friends with Steve for a long time. Just a super great guy and a awesome songwriter. So that's just one of those songs that, you know, like I was saying earlier with Nashville, you just set up appointments and write, and sometimes good stuff comes out of it. So, all
right, let's take a listen to Nobody Cheats on Me. We'll be right back.
You look so good, you talk real nice. Just a little while back, I'd never thought twice about taking you home and seeing what happened. But every man in the room keeps staring at you, and I know all about beautiful women and the things they can do. Oh, the things they can do. So nobody cheats on me. Hell, nobody breaks my heart. Maybe I'm just too mean, or maybe I'm just too smart. And an only fool believes in the sweet lie they call love. Once is enough. So nobody cheats on me. Well, the days get long and the bed gets cold, but I'm getting pretty used to this sleeping alone. At least I ain't lying awake all night wondering where she is, things, but I have my doubts. If you don't let anybody in, they can walk out. So nobody cheats on me, nobody breaks my heart. Maybe I'm just too mean, or maybe I'm just too small. And lonely fool believe in a sweet life they call love. Once is enough, so nobody cheats on me. After that kind of love, well, nobody cheats on me. Oh, nobody cheats on me.
Online 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet radio station.
You're listening to Expat Radio, your worldwide friend.
Oh my gosh, that music, that steel guitar, every time, Clint, every time. It's just awesome. Oh, that's a great tune. I feel so privileged to be able to listen to these because, you know, I heard you on stage and I looked for your music, and when I got those tracks in my email, I played them pretty much all afternoon. So I feel really, really privileged, and I think more people need to hear your music, and, you know, we'll get you there for sure. I'm super excited. So before we went to break, I told everyone a story about when I saw you in this little theater in Greeley, and this woman was just drunk and obnoxious. And as an artist, like, what's going through your mind at that point?
A lot of cuss words. It's so irritating because it's not really, I mean, it is about us, but it's also about the people like yourself that paid $20 for a ticket that came in there to see us. And and it happens a lot. The good thing about these guys with this whole era of Cody Jinks, Ward Davis, you know, these guys that are coming up and making a splash. Ward kind of started a whole trend with the shut the F up and listen to the music. Our buddy TJ, Tennessee Jet, just had shirts made that on the back it says shut the F up. You know, and I see them at every show. And
That's awesome.
A lot of times, I mean, you can hear a pin drop when we're playing, but there is those times when people just consume too much or whatever, just want to be the center of attention and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just, that's just the way it goes. And we're used to that because we've all played bars. We know how it goes. But this is just different. It's not like playing honky tonks. We're in listening rooms these days. And this is what we're trying. We're just, and 98% of the people respect that.
Right.
There's just some that don't, and it gets irritating at times. And we don't care. We'll stop the show and tell them shut the F up.
Yeah, you know, and you did, and that was awesome.
I mean, it's rude, but they're being rude, so it doesn't matter. And a lot of times, the people around them will applaud us, you know, for saying it, because it's you know, it's more about them anyway. They want to hear. They came to hear the music.
Right. And I think that night was, like I said earlier, there was a lot of drama in that theater for as small as it was. But like, you know, when Ward came out, this person like spilled drinks all over his foot pedals. Like, there was so much drama, and I know that he was not happy either. And, you know, that's kind of what we talked about, you know, after the show. You were like, he was so pissed. And you were like, at that point, you kind of had to laugh about it because everything was okay. But he, you know, he's looking for that respect that y'all deserve. And sometimes people get so into it that they just lose it. And so I think that that's good that you stop the music.
They get so into their alcohol a lot of times.
Well,
and
that's
what happens. The majority of the time, that's what's causing it.
Right.
And I understand. I've been there. We all drink.
Yeah.
You know, it happens.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I wanted to get back to Ward Davis a little bit about just kind of what he's doing for me.
Mm-hmm.
He called me back in May and said, man, we've got a really good thing going on. Like, man, Cody Jinks opened the door for Ward. And Ward was playing in his band, opening up for him. And just, he was in front of huge audiences every night.
Yeah.
And those fans became Ward's fans.
Yep.
Well, Ward called me back in May and said, dude, come out, do the same thing. Play in my band, open up some shows for me. And May, it was the worst possible time. I've got 2 kids. You know, they were fixing to get out of school. I had a ton of gigs I'd already booked for the summer. You know, private parties and whatnot. And so I just said, man, it's the worst possible time. Please call me September, October, around there, and I'm in. And I talked to my wife about it, and I said, look, you know, this is going to be hard.
Yeah,
it is, because Ward's very busy right now. I mean, we just got off a 36 that show we did in Greeley. That was on a 36-day run.
Wow.
And being away from our wife and kids and stuff for 36 days, I mean, that's tough.
Yeah.
And we come back, we have a couple of days off, and we're right back out again. So it's just, you know, this is the process we have to take without any, you know, major label spending. I mean, I'm coming out of pocket.
Right.
You know, as far as like trying to sell my merch and doing my music and recording my music, this is all me.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's a huge commitment. But this is what we have to do at this point. I mean, I'm 37 years old. Nashville, I'm ancient for Nashville.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
And
you know, I think what's interesting. No, I think what's interesting is when you and I were talking about this offer that Ward gave you, and you said, "Man, this is just not the right time." Like, he respected that, and he said, well, "Dude, I'm in. Let's do it later."
And that's I give him all the respect in the world, and he's changing my life as an artist. Just because, I mean, I told him to call me back in September, and he did. He waited. You know, he could have got somebody else to do it, but he waited on me. He went out with the same band he had. I was the new addition. So, you know, kudos to him forever. I mean, he saved what was left of my music career, you know, because I was on the verge of just pretty much giving up. I was sick of the whole system. And this system we're in now, we don't have to worry about Nashville. And
do what you want.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's going to go somewhere big. I just absolutely know it's going to go somewhere big. What's your favorite place to perform? Where have you performed that you were like, I got to go back there?
Greeley, Colorado. No.
Well, the birthday girl is not invited.
You know, I don't know. There's been several places. I mean, the really good markets for Ward are in that kind of Midwest area. St. Louis.
Yeah.
We got 3 shows this week. We're heading to Springfield, Illinois. Bowling Green, Kentucky is going to be awesome. Just because we're so close. That's 45 minutes from my house. So we've got tons of people coming. We're going to see so many friends and family this weekend. It's going to be all my dad's coming up and playing with me. It's just going to be a great night. We're playing there Saturday night. So, you know,
awesome.
I can't really pinpoint one place. I mean, it's been really good throughout.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And you've been all over the country. So it's very, very, I think what's interesting about like Colorado and the Midwest and what you're describing is there's people seeking that kind of music because you can hear it more in the South and those sorts of places. But
Sure.
like to get people like you and Ward and Ray and, even Cody from Texas, like to come here, it's like there are people who want that kind of music, but
Sure.
to get people here has been challenging. And so it's coming around. We're seeing more and more artists sort of branching out of their sort of local area, and it's fantastic. We're hungry for it. So
And
I'm
Christine,
excited.
I have to backtrack a little bit on
Mhm.
when you asked me to about a venue that I like the most.
Mhm.
I played the Ryman Auditorium, so that's like the mecca. I did do that. I played three, but Dad and I played 3 songs. We opened up for Blake Shelton at a benefit thing at the Ryman.
Nice.
That was tops. I'll
Yeah.
say that.
I can imagine how moving that would be. That's like the coolest place to play.
Yeah, just the history.
music.
I mean, you're
Yep.
walking on the same stage as Hank Williams and
Yeah,
I mean,
all
just
the
the history.
greats. Absolutely, absolutely. So, I have a question that I want to ask about where to follow you. And I know we've chatted a little bit about social media, and it's not quite your jam yet, but it's going to be. We're going to get it there. But where can people follow you? Where's the best place that people can follow you and read about you? And I know in the near future, you'll probably get some songs out there for people to buy. But
Yeah,
where can
right.
people follow you?
Right now, I'm just on Facebook. I mean,
Okay.
if you go to Clint Park on Facebook, you'll find my music page. I'm on there. I mean, that's where I do most of my dealings. Right now, I don't have anything to sell other than at shows. I'm selling hard copies of CDs and selling shirts at shows. But this EP I did, this was 3 years ago. And it was just kind of a passion project that I wanted to do on my own.
Right. Right.
Dad and I have been recording we had recorded a ton of stuff, but it was something I wanted to do on my own. And it wasn't the most bona fide country thing ever. I wanted to put a little blues in it, a little Dylan in it. Like, it wasn't the most bona fide country thing I'd ever done. But working with Robbie, I mean, that guy, he's just, as far as talent goes, he's tops as far as just a instrumentalist. So it was a lot of fun working with him. And, but I'm working on my new stuff. I just booked studio time in May.
Awesome.
With Jim Moose Brown. Jim wrote 5 O'Clock Somewhere. Jim was Grammy nominated, piano player. He's a session player here in Nashville. He produced Ward stuff. Just unbelievably talented guy. And it's going to be a lot of fun working with him. So that's my next project. And it will be on iTunes and Spotify and everything.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's awesome. People need you in their life. We are hungry for you. So we have one song left, and it's called Love Hate Thing. What's the history behind that song?
It was just an idea. I think Dad had the idea, and we wrote this song with our buddy David Lee. David's down in Texas now, but Dave was in Nashville for a long time. I kind of grew up with David. I mean, him and my dad were best friends. And so, I mean, he's seen me come up since I was just real young. And David wrote Lucky Man for Montgomery Gentry, Hello World, Lady Antebellum, Letters from Home, John Michael Montgomery.
Wow, yeah.
He had success in Nashville, but him, just like a lot of us, they just get sick of the whole system. So he picked his family up and he moved to Texas. He's now down in Texas playing gigs.
Wow. Yeah. I know you and I talked pre-show, and we talked about, is Nashville really the only place where you can, do production and get, gigs and that? And you said absolutely not. Anywhere you want to go, Texas is one of them.
It is. Texas is. It's the thing about Nashville. If you do happen to get a record deal in Nashville, Nashville's got a lot of money. They give you a lot of support, you know, and that helps. That helps a lot to try to do what you want to do. You know, the only problem is with what we're doing out here is we're on a tight budget. We have to pinch pennies everywhere we go.
Right. I don't think people realize that.
Well, I mean, until we get really something going, I mean, that's just kind of where we're at.
Yeah. I've talked with you, and I've talked with a couple other people, and Ray being one of them. And I think people don't realize that, you know, if you don't have like this big, you know, record deal or anything, it's really, you're not making money on the shows so much. You're making money on merch, and you're making money on, you know, those sorts of things. And I don't think people realize that. So I think that's good to hear.
You're exactly right. I mean, that's for what we're doing. I mean, people buying merch and stuff, it means so much to us, because that just, it kind of gives us the money for new projects and new merch. I mean, when somebody buys my T-shirt, all that's doing is going to pay back what I did on those shirts and try to buy different styles of shirts. Right. I mean, it's going right back into the system that we're trying to do, you know. When they buy our records on iTunes or whatever, that's just going for our next project. We're not getting rich by any means. I mean, we're just trying to keep the ball rolling, you know. Right.
Yeah. So we are almost pretty much out of time, and I want to make sure that we play this last song. So I can't thank you enough for getting up so early with me today, and I'm privileged to share you with as many people as I get to share you with today and beyond. And I know that things are going to just go skyrocket from here. I just feel it in my heart. And Dave, thank you again for producing and having us on. And I'm super excited. Any last words for us, Dave?
Yes, just that you love getting up with a lot of men first thing in the morning, don't you, next time?
I do. That's a secret, Dave. You just don't tell everyone that.
Oh, if anybody ever knew that you've got bunk beds there and you have blokes on the top bunk every morning. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. John would be like, what is going on? No, I thank you, Dave. That's awesome.
It's my guest. Trust me, I have to have him on the radio in the morning first. You can't have a man in the bedroom while I'm on the bed.
Yes, I've woke up with many a men on Tuesday mornings.
Yeah, jeez, another one.
Oh gosh, Clint, thank you. I'm excited to see where you go, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll bring you back on for sure again. And we're gonna play one last song, "Love Hate Thing," and hope that you have a fantastic run this next 3 gigs that you've got. So
I've got a good feeling now after this. Trust me.
Well, guys, I really appreciate it. I know it's 5 a.m. in Nashville, and it was hard for me to get up, but this has been awesome.
I appreciate you getting up.
I really appreciate everything. May, I'll start on the new record, and I will definitely give you guys a call. Would love for you to spin that one too. So,
brilliant.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right, we're going to play out with this before we run out of time. This is Love Hate Thing.
Yes. Bye.
See you guys. All the best.
A good glass of whiskey can set you free. It'll ease your mind for a little while, then drop you to your knees. You can get your fix from a slow draw of a burning cigarette. It'll ease your mind, but over time it can steal your last breath. It's a love-hate thing. It's kind of like you and me, babe. It's one of those feel-good pains you can't live without. And sometimes it's heaven and sometimes it's hell. Sometimes it seems insane. Oh, then we can't walk away from this love-hate thing. We feel the fire when I hold you close. And it gets so hot, and I guess that's what gives us hope. But the thing about fire, it never burns the same. It can heat your home on a cold night, or it could send it up in flames. It's a love-hate thing, and it's kind of like you and me, babe. It's one of those feel-good pains you can't live without. And sometimes it's heaven, or sometimes it's hell. Sometimes it seems insane. Oh, then we can't walk away from this love-hate thing. Heaven, or sometimes it's hell. Sometimes it seems insane. Oh, then we can't walk away from this love-hate thing. No,
oh, that's Clint Park. How good is that?
Love it.
Love it, love it, love it. Right, that's it from me for today. Coming up next, you got the Sky News, and you got Mick Hennell with the Golden Oldies.